And we are live.
Hello.
Welcome, Adela. We are going to speak today about the Libra energy and how you see it as the bridge between Mars and Venus. So the masculine, the feminine. And I'm super happy to have you here. I'm super curious to see what is this conversation going to be about. And tell us a little bit about yourself, just because some people haven't seen you. You are an astrologer, you're into gene keys. I want to hear a little bit about your background.
Thank you for opening this space for me and for us and for all of us, Bella. I'm Adela. I'm an astrologer, and I was always interested in blending systems. So for me, astrology got more sense when the human design and the gene keys started bringing flavors to the natal charts. So when I discovered the program we both work with, the genetic metrics, it was like, wow, this is a whole new world, because it brought more understanding to the flavors each sign can have. Recently, I started working with the signs as archetypes and see a certain sign as, different layers an archetype can have. So right now we are in Libra, and I felt both of us have this strong energy in us, even if none of us is Libra, but we will discuss why that's activated in both of us. So I felt like, okay, I want to do this with Bella now on the Libra energies. And I hope it's a useful life for all the ones that have activations in Libra or Venus and Mars active in their chart, very active. So this is why, and this is why I'm. Yes.
So should we bring up a chart right away, or where do you want to start?
We can just maybe before speak a bit about this blend of Venus and Mars, and maybe why Libra is a blend between Venus and Mars, a bridge between Venus and Mars. I usually work a lot with the planets that are associated with a sign, and Libra is associated with Venus, and it's the planet of beauty and well, we all know about Venus, beauty and love, and what is moral and what is right. So both of us are also ruled by Venus, as we are Tauruses. And I feel that when Venus gets activated, both Libra and Taurus get a bit, ooh, what's going on? So Libra for me was an interesting sign, because it has the governor that is Venus, but it is a cardinal sign and an air sign. And they also work with the Mars energy. So Libra has this balance between male and female, about, seeing both sides of the story in the same time. So this for me was fascinating, and it is a theme that I'm working on even in my life. The blend between Venus and Mars. And I found that the Libra energy does this very naturally. How do you feel, Venus and Mars? Especially as one of your placement is in Libra.
Yeah, I mean, I have felt the transits that we have been in. Now is it the 29, and we have been in Libra for like a week. And I'm kind of feeling this thing of like, weighing things and knowing like, does it make sense? Doesn't it make sense anymore? And really and in the gene keys, we've been in the 18, and we're in the 18, we're going to go into the 48. So it feels like a lot of even like going back and reevaluating for me right now. And I almost kind of wanted to show some of the, like, because I know that there might be some new people also that are watching, and I kind of want to show where we are. But like the basics of astrology right now, it's like we are in Libra. It's a month basically from the 22nd or something of September to the 22nd of, or 21st or 22nd of October. And we are going to go through 5 gene key archetypes that are and the archetypes that we're going to go through are the codon ring of matter that have to do with our developmental phases. So there is also a lot of psychology, kind of the psychology, the ideology, the emotions, the mental. So I do feel that for me, Libra really has all of it, and even like the physical, because Venus for me is very, very physical, is very all the senses. So if there's one sign that for me feels very like full, spectrum, that is Libra. And I kind of feel sometimes it gets a little bit of a bad reputation. And I can go back to my own life and feel having Mars, for example, in Libra, like the indecision. Like I always have to weigh all the things before I know. And I would like my Mars sometimes to just be a little bit more like, okay, let's go for this and let's everything else burn down. But I'm very not able to do that, you know?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm living with a Mars in Libra. So that energy, yeah, I know what you speak about. Yes, thank you. So would you like to look at the transit first?
Yeah, I feel like, because I know that there are people that are quite new, so I kind of also, I want to include everybody. So part of like what we're looking at now, we are looking at this Libra. So this is the wheel of astrology. So here, if you're new to astrology, you know it's like the wheel is 1 year, and we're starting out the year in Aries. And then we go through Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, and now we are in Libra. So when we were saying right now we came in to Libra, we are just like kind of 1 week in, and we are going to go through these gates or genes, hexagrams, so 18, 48, 57, 32, and 50. That is the Libra energy. And it's the way that you look at it, Adela, and that I have started to look more and more, it's like how important for me it is to actually weave the systems, I Ching, human design, gene keys, also the elements. So you said it's cardinal air. So yeah, that's what I want to show. But I'm kind of interested in hearing just what you are saying, like the title of what we're doing, Libra, the bridge between the masculine and the feminine. That's kind of what I would love to have you speak more about, and knowing that that is in the air, whether you have these gates, whether you have a lot of Libra in your chart, like what does it mean in the collective with the energy of Libra being this bridge right now?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, pointing out, like you really went like bang where it where it's like the bullseye, you know. Ping. I feel that the Libra has a lot to do with justice, and the way I see Venus, you will see when we talk more about the placements of Venus and Mars specifically. The way I see Venus, it's not just beauty and nice stuff and romance. It's also what is moral. And I think I told in other lives that I associate a lot Venus with Friday, that was in the Mayan astrology, associated in the Mayan tradition, associated with the day when punishment was happening. Not necessarily punishment, but the day when right and wrong was decided. So I feel that Venus has this huge power to not only see what is beautiful, but also what is moral. And what better kid than 18 that has like a clear mind sometimes, like just that perceiving of what is right and wrong. And it's a very complex key that it's activating my Lilith in Libra. So I see this Venus part, that's beauty and moral part too. And then the Mars part, the more cardinal part of it, comes with actually doing what is right and wrong. And because it's an air sign, it's not necessarily doing as in a maybe shocking material way, but it might also do stuff at an idea level or at a collective level. Air is circulating all the time. So it might have a power for all of us, this blend. Even if we have activations here or not, it's just like that blend between male and female, between right and wrong, between action and romance that's happening, and we might feel it all this period. So this is how I mainly see this transit. And I saw that it is now in the 8th house, that is the house of transformation. So I feel it's a lot about the alchemical transformation we live inside.
But do you feel like there is a conflict? Because often when we speak about like women are from Venus, men are from Mars, you know, these kind of like polarities that we almost feel like these two energies can't understand each other. So how do they come together, and how is Libra kind of the peacemaker in that coming together?
Well, this is a subject I just wrote an article about because it's something that I feel very personal towards to express, like this blend between masculine and feminine. And I think we are entering a new era in which the masculine, the feminine, even outside us, inside us, have to work together. And the Libra, from my point of view, it's the only sign that is not an animal or not a human. It's just a scale. So Libra has this capacity to just take, one step back and just like weigh stuff. It's like, let's see who and how has here. So it's, I think many times what you told about the indecision or what should I do part is not necessarily indecision. It's just that Libra placements need the time to just, okay, I need time to just see where am I here. So I don't see it as a lack of balance. I love the energy of the Libra, and I feel that just it needs time to bridge this energy together. And I think it's happening. we both feel it as we both work with men and women, and I think we are living that awakening finally.
Yeah, I was hearing myself kind of go off a little bit we had a asteroid call, I think it was last week when I did hear it felt a little bit of the old paradigm of like, let's do it kind of just women together. And I really had to say, I really had to speak about my experience, especially with men that are like the younger. It's almost like the mutation has already happened. So we don't even have to break through. We don't even have to use that kind of warrior energy. It's like, it's just transcended, just resolved. And it's, I mean, that if there's anything that gives me hope about the future, is when I see, younger women and men that have that wholesomeness in themselves with the feminine and masculine that actually like mirroring each other. So absolutely, I can feel it happen. And I feel like it's so important also to create containers where we can come together, also like men with men and women with women, and then all together, like, but those containers where there is space to, I feel, for men, especially when I think about, I mean, I don't know, but I think about different cultures, and I feel like the kind of sense of where the masculine is right now, and when we think in regards to men in Sweden, that's a very different environment than where men are in Italy, for example. But there is still this kind of seeking for identity and this feeling that like the feminine was a part of the game. So how do you include it? Whether you are in Sweden, where already men have to be home with their babies for at least 6 months if they want to have that from like the government covering that, or in Italy, where it's still a lot of a macho system in a way. So it's going to be on a cultural basis too. It's going to look different of that inclusion of the polarities, basically.
True. I agree. What I also felt the moment you said identity, I was like, bing, because Libra has the polarity in Aries. So whenever we work with the energy of the sign, we work with the energy of the opposite sign too. So Libra isn't just about romance and balance. It's also about who am I in this, whatever is happening, balance. And I find that the signs before Libra, we have them in us anyway. All the planets, all the energies are there in us. The signs before Libra are about doing our internal work. Who are we? What is our value? What, etc., etc., etc. And Libra is the first sign that opens up the higher houses, let's say, or the other signs. What am I relating to? How are my relationships? Who am I relating to? And so on, the other signs. So I find it's the first sign that, really makes this bridge between me and the other and us.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you're saying, the first sign. So if this is like kind of a little bit tilted, but if we start with Aries, and then we will go through these first signs to the sixth sign, which is Virgo, and then we have the next 6 signs, and that's like kind of the relationship with the other. Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense. And now it's like the sun is right on that cusp of like me to we, or personal to transpersonal.
Yes. And it's opposing, as it's shown in the chart of the now, it's opposing Chiron and the Earth. So I think we all feel Chiron being very active right now. Everyone is healing from something. So yeah, it's a very deep moment we all are going through. Okay. So do you want to look at yours?
Yeah, I always would love to look at mine.
Okay. So your Venus is in Aries. Oh, you are the perfect example. Your Venus is in Aries and your Mars is in Libra. So you are the perfect opposition. Wow. Oh, yeah, they are. So Venus talks a lot in a woman chart, talks a lot about the way she loves and the way she manifests love and the sensual side and so on. In a man chart, it can talk about how the woman he wants to be with should express love. So it's about this type of love story polarity here. Mars in a woman chart can talk a lot about her drive and sexuality, and in a man chart it talks about his masculinity and his aggressive side. In your case, it's very interesting because they are opposites, and your feminine side is in a masculine fiery sign, and the Mars sign is in a cardinal sign and a very balanced sign. So it's quite a blend. I'm curious how it feels for you, but mainly Mars here would have that. Mars in Libra works a lot on balance. And from my experience with the relationship I'm in right now, Mars in Libra needs balance. They always want to be treated fairly and to treat the other one fairly. So that's the turn on. Like, treat me as I treat you, treat me right, I treat you right. That kind of of balance comes with Mars here, even in intimacy, because Mars is also related to sexuality. So it's all the time it's weighing, like, is it fair? Did I receive? Did I give? Did I trying to see this balance? And Venus opposite may mean a struggle between the feminine and the masculine side, or this kind of opposition all the time. Like, am I in the feminine energy? Am I in the masculine energy? Am I too aggressive? Am I too feminine? But what I like about oppositions, because I also have a lot myself in the chart, is usually people with opposition, in time, I see them as very good in managing conflict, because they see both sides. They have it in them. You also have the sun and moon as I have. So it's like, because I live both sides of the story, I can understand both sides. I can understand male and female. So as you said in the discussion in the group we had, yeah, I'm in this group with the women. I'm also in group with men. So let's blend them. And I think this is the energy of this opposition you personally have in your chart, and the opposition that usually Libra tries to to balance.
Yeah, and I like it too when we think about the gene keys and we speak about the core wound. And a lot of like the way that Richard Rudd speaks about the core wound is that it's the immature masculine, and where humanity is right now is to kind of like that immature masculine that is in women and in men is growing up. So it's almost like my Mars position in Libra says, if it's in the low frequency, it's like really hard. It's like indecisive. It doesn't know, like it's kind of so not in its power. But as it grows up and matures, I feel like Libra is really a super quality in the masculine. And it's really, we want the masculine to be like that, because then the world is going to be fair. Look how it is now. It is in Aries, and it's like making war everywhere. So I feel like it is about an immature expression of the masculine. And maybe we haven't really, like, there's somewhere where we need to start to also value that as a society, and not only just look at the warrior as like the strongest and the one is going to kind of win. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. I think with Venus in Aries, that they can be a little bit frightening sometimes, but it's not something I think that I so much feel. It's more something that I can maybe see in relationship, that energy can be a little bit, a lot.
Yeah, the lover warrior. I love you and I fight with you. Yeah, I wanted to say something about, you pointed nicely about the core wound. I am also a big fan of working with the gene keys, and I always invite people to go and study and go on their website and explore. I find that the Mars position in the gene keys profile and the Mars position even here in astrology, the subconscious part or the body part, I felt it has a lot to do with a sexual wound, usually. So it's a wound, but because it's Mars and because it has a lot to do with the sexual roar of life, many times I look at that Mars as in, what is it that's maybe wounded in our sexual part, in our sexual way of expressing? And many times I've saw it there in the subconscious Mars talking a lot. Well, yours are in the same sign, so you won't feel a much difference. But people who have it maybe in different signs might feel it.
So I'm wondering, that's like super interesting what you're saying. And in the Venus course that I'm just teaching, we have just been in the attraction sphere, and that's where we are learning about the sexual wound. So I'm super interested in hearing, how would you kind of thread? So when we look at the attraction, that is the unconscious moon. So moon and Mars, and kind of like, you know, what is the relate? How do they tell us the story about the sexual wound together? Or would you say that the moon is not that important?
Okay, it is important. I feel that Mars is a lot more related to like that energy of, I want that person, I want to express that, I want to, I don't know, dress in red and be provocative. Let's say you have a subconscious Mars in Aries, you would like to hunt. And it can be like, you know, you don't see it, you don't watch, you don't show it, and so on, because it's a wound there. The subconscious moon, the attraction is, I love that sphere a lot. It's very much about, more about desires, like inner desire, the emotional part. I want to be loved. I want to be pampered. I would like to be. So it's more like deeper. It goes to a deeper level, not just like that energy of the warrior, but what is it I really want? Like, okay, I might need attraction, or I might need, I don't know what kind of sex, but what is it really there emotionally that works for me? And yes, it's a deep one. I always work with both the moons, the personality moon and the subconscious moon. Like, what's triggering me deep down?
And do you work with a personality moon more as the drive, or what archetype would you say that the personality moon is?
I think the personality moon is, it's very much us when we feel comfortable to show us. Who are we when we just, we can be, you know? What kind of personality do we have in intimacy? Do we show it when the walls are off? So as we both have the same moon, for example, the intensity the Scorpio moon has, or that kind of power the Scorpio moon has, it might not show in the beginning. And I made a course about Scorpio moons, and it was very funny. We didn't show any of us any of that. Usually you're like showing your rising, showing something else, but the moon is there like already. You know, it's like, yeah. So I find it's who we are when we are comfortable to show us, and you know, that inner back lights that always happen to be there.
Yeah, wow, I like that. Do you want to look at your chart? Let's bring your chart up. Let's see.
Hello.
Where is it? Let's see. I'm like navigating your chart.
Yeah, my Venus is in Taurus in the 12th house, and my Mars is in Gemini in the 2nd house, the conscious one, the personality ones. And you can imagine Taurus and Gemini quite something. For me, because Venus is in the 12th house, it is in Taurus, and usually it feels very well in Taurus. It's a placement But because it is in the 12th house, many times I had to work to see it, to actually get in contact with that energy, because I mainly expressed it through art or through my clothes or something else, not necessarily just embodying it. And I am working on that for some time, and it feels great to have Venus where it feels home. It's a very comfortable position, but being in the 12th house, it was difficult for me to see it. Mars, I was very conscious of my Mars all the time. I'm not 100% sure of my birth time, so maybe my Mars is in the first house. I don't know. But anyway, even when you told me to choose a key that represents me, you know, I choose 12. That is the placement of Mars. Mars in Gemini for me brings a lot of mental activity, and it's also an air sign. So for me, it was this blend between the central part of Taurus and the very curious mind of Mars. And the warrior energy in my case played as cutting with words. That's like how I feel the 12. Just it can use words as a weapon. And Venus uses everything as love. Venus is in Taurus is one of the lovers, like Venus in Libra. So this is what I felt with mine, and my subconscious Mars is in Taurus. Like I have so much Taurus energy that it's like boom, yeah. And it is difficult for me to access that kind of energy. You know, we also talked about the 27, and I was like, no, 27, I don't want to enter that key. I'm like, fine. So it is something deep there, even for me. I'm working. Yes. What are you asking?
No, I was looking at your Libra, and you don't have, I don't think you have any signs in Libra, but you have things in the 7th house, right?
Yeah. It's in the 6th house, I think. I don't know. It starts in the 6th. I have Lilith in Libra.
Exactly. So you don't, in your chart, it's funny that also that you like it, because it's not something that is like super, I mean, yeah, how would you say in your, like when, this is kind of a little bit a bigger question when people kind of start to learn astrology, like in your chart, would we say that Libra, like that Libra is important for you or not? Like when we see, okay, there's nothing here, we don't see Lilith because it's the asteroid, we don't see it in this chart. And yeah, how would you, when you see this chart, would you, oh yeah, would you go to say, okay, there's a lot of Taurus energy, so Venus is the same ruler, that makes Libra important too? Or like, what would how would you speak about the importance of Libra in this chart, for example?
I always feel that all signs are important. So as it is maybe with undefined centers or with open centers in the human design chart, I feel that it's like a place where you can play more with that energy. So it's not like you have a certain planet that dictates, like, oh, for example, with my moon in Scorpio, emotions are intense. Oh, no. With the Libra energy, I can play more. And this is how I see it in many charts. And I work with people that have many empty houses. And it's like, fine, it's a playground. This is how I see it. How can I get more wisdom? And life brought me my partner that has almost all his chart in Libra. So it's a lot about playing. I feel about the openness of playing with that energy more and embodying that energy in different ways. So it might not be yours, but life will bring you something. As in, what don't you have? Pisces, or what don't you have?
Yeah, what do I not have? Yeah, I think I have no Pisces and
no Pisces
and no Virgo, maybe.
No Virgo. Yeah, so then working with the spirituality part and with the healing part and the way you organize routine and the way you organize your communication with God, it's more open. So it's not like, okay, me and God, we have to talk in this way, in a serious way, like let's say Saturn would be there. So it's I find it more openness to certain signs and exploring that signs more playful.
Now, what would you say about the Libra? Because here, if of course now we have both the design and the astrology, you could say, or the personality and astrology. So I have in my like astrology chart, I have Pluto and I have Pluto and Mars. Is that what I have? Or I also have Saturn.
You also have Saturn there? Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, woo! You
And
see,
I think Saturn is
time.
squaring. It's squaring like the north node and the south node. There is something going on with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So what's your reading on that? I want to know everything about that now.
Can you put the other chart, the chart with just one column, so I can see the aspects between?
Yeah, let's do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this for all of you who's watching, both like Adela was saying, we're using genetic matrix, which is super, super cool if you want to see like really astrology and human design together. So that's.
And please include Lilith, please, if you hear us.
Oh, let's send this to John and ask him to include it.
Yes, that would be great because it's getting more and more active. Okay, so I'm looking at, you said the nodes and Pluto and Saturn. This is what we want to know. No. Oh, a square, yeah, a square with Pluto and a square with Saturn. Ooh, So the nodes, I see the nodes as the journey on our life mission. The North Node is like the road you are walking on, like a pilgrim that walks on that road to yourself and to your higher self. And the South Node is like the backpack of resources that we, sometimes use, sometimes get lost in with our head in the backpack. So this is how I usually see the nodes. What does my soul want to live? And where am I heading? The North Node. It looks like a pair of headphones. Yeah, that one. And yours is in the first house. Ooh.
Yeah, and I also want to tell people like the north node is on one side, and then on the opposite side we have the south node. And here in this chart, it's not. We don't have it like it's not written out, but it's always opposite.
Yeah, you can calculate it all by yourselves. It's always in the opposite sign, opposite degrees, opposite house, opposite everything. So this is how I see the nodes, this kind of mission of blending the future and the past and so on. When planets like yours square it, like Pluto and Saturn, and you also have it retrograde, Pluto, I feel it's a lot about transformation, and Saturn is about the rough lessons of life. So it might be that in order to get to know the higher meaning of the soul, you might go through very deep transformations. Like, Pluto is about dying and being reborn again, and that sense of immortality. Saturn might be, Saturn might put you through experiences like learning the time lesson, learning, working with the ancestors or stuff like that. So it's harder lessons till you get on that road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But also it's a dynamic aspect. So square is not necessarily a bad aspect. It's a dynamic, like you might feel that, oh, I'm transforming again, but it's a dynamic transformation. You are conscious of living that transformation. It happens. I know I'm living it. So, mainly this is how I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was reading about Pluto, like the whole evolutionary aspect, like how it speaks about Pluto. And that actually gave me it's kind of each system is zooming in on one thing. So for example, Jinkies might zoom in on the core wound, for example, and then evolutionary astrology like really is about Pluto and what house is it in and where is it. And it's almost like, yeah, it's so helpful to like kind of have the courage to look in through these lenses. And it's always kind of it's a new chapter of your life. And if you can be, like you're saying, open with them and not fixed, they always add. And that's what I feel like when you're saying Lilith and what we're doing with the Asteroid group. It's like kind of having that openness, like bringing mythology. And you're saying you're working with archetypes. With Ashley, what we're working in the 64 doors is to have, instead of like having 64 numbers, can we have like 64 archetypes, 64 characters that come in and play, and that, like you say, they can bridge things together, that can mirror each other, and then it becomes alive. Because I have felt really like what's been not hard for me, but what I felt this week, and I think it has to do with the fairness of Libra. And it was like really strong yesterday, actually. I was like, I'm tired of speaking in numbers. I'm tired of speaking, not including everybody. Like, I want to be able to speak, and I don't want to exclude you because you don't know astrology, you don't know human design. Like, I don't want to speak like, even when it comes to business, and I don't want to speak about the yellow organization, the blue organization, because then there's somebody out there who can't understand me. So I'm excluding people by the way I speak. And that, I feel like, that's like not my values, and that's not fair. So there is something with a universal way of and I mean, I have my son in the 11th house, and I feel like, yeah, I can go in my inner and study astrology, but there's something in the way that I speak where I would like to include, instead of saying you can only understand me if you speak my language.
And I think this is a shift we are going through. I feel it very personally too. My North Node is in the 11th house and activated by the 55. So I feel this freedom like happening. So either we understand it now or not, it is still happening. So yeah, as you know, I'm very open to blending this.
Yeah, blending, and then be able to speak beyond the two, and to be able to touch people, not with a system, or not with your expertise, or not with your kind of perfection of something, but to be able to actually make sense from a place that is human, not a place that is, and for me, with Mercury in the 12th house, in Gemini, sometimes it goes really quick, and then I have those moments where kind of Saturn or whatever says like, step back, like, what are you doing? Are you in integrity? That's the 18, is like, are you in integrity? Is this how you want to show up? And where did these systems come from? And like, where they like, and then there are the layers and the scales.
Yeah. Yes, very nice. I can totally relate. And yeah, this is what Libra does, it's ways tries to relate. I think relating is something that we have to learn. I discovered, so now I'm in a new relationship after ending a very long relationship and going through a divorce. So I'm learning how to love again and to speak a new love language. And it's like, I realized I didn't know so much. So it's being open. And what you say, it came to my attention too, that a lot of people don't want to speak in systems or numbers anymore, but they do want to connect and do want to know each other and do want, so yeah, it should help us more connect. Yeah.
And do you feel like it's helpful? So you are spending time in the States right now, and you're from Romania, and it's like, it's a different reality. Like, how do you relate to kind of changing reality, and with identity, with who you are, with like the Libra energy, with the bridging?
What I find very interesting here is the dialogue. So I learn now to really be in a dialogue, to really communicate. And this is something that I love here in the States. It's like the trueness of communication. It's something that I'm learning right now, and it's gorgeous. And I see it as a journey. I see that, yeah, my soul wanted to be here, and I'm fine. I'm here, and it's exploring, and it's learning. It's a process of learning and being open, and using my Mars in Gemini to really communicate and use words. Yeah, so this is what I'm feeling, and it feels great. Of course, it's a new situation, but I have 41 2 times. Yeah, new. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And thank you for all that are watching.
Yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for being with us, kind of diving in and zooming in. And thank you, Adela. It's always so fun to kind of just, explore with you.
Same. Thank you for hosting this party.
Yay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.